welcome to another active stretch and recovery day with core moves. So today I'm going to speak slow and loud because I'm out in the back garden at the beach here and we've got birds and wind and all sorts. Might even have a dog on the mat at some point. So just bear with me, try and stay focused and really concentrate on what our focus is for today. And our focus for today is all about the core. So most people, when we talk about the core door, we think about only the abdominals. And yes, the core obviously is predominantly about the abdominals, but it's also about the stabilizers through the whole back line of the body. So we've got all the muscles that keep the shoulders down and back, our rhomboids, which glue our scapula onto the thoracic wall of the rib cage. We've got our lats, which pull them down the back, and the serratus anterior. And then we've got our QL, our quadratus lumborum, which is those deep abdominal muscles right in the lower back here that often gets overused because of lazy glutes. So when we talk about our core today, it is all about the glutes. The glutes are the powerhouse for our body. And most people are glute lazy. We spend a lot of time sitting. And if you go to any physiotherapist, any functional movement specialist, any sports therapist like myself, it often is quite hard to figure out why somebody is glute lazy, but a lot of people are. And if your glutes aren't working properly in synergy with the rest of your muscles, especially with your abdominals, then your rectus femoris, or the front of your thighs, and your hamstrings start to take over, which means that you start to get knee issues, hamstring issues, calf tears, hamstring tears, and then you get that deep achy pain right underneath the butt muscle. So it is really, really important to always remember my glutes work with my core to create my powerhouse. And my powerhouse is that nice rectangle in the middle of my body. So our exercises we're going to do today are all about the core. And we're going to take them really slow and just focus on holding them in that isometric hold so we can really wake up the glutes and wake up those deep abdominal muscles. So we're going to start on our hands and knees, and I hope you can hear me. I'll speak loud and clear and slow, which is something I normally don't do. So let's get on our mat on our 4-point kneeling. Now we're going to do some scapular push-ups. So before we come onto the floor to do them, I just want to remind you about protraction and retraction. So our scapula, our shoulder blades, have these medial borders, the two lines that run down the middle of our back. And when our scapula are in neutral, they're flush with the thoracic wall of the rib cage. So they lie flat across the back. When they retract or wing, they pop up, like when you reach your arm behind you and you get that little pop in the scapula there, okay? And that's called winging. That means that your muscles aren't actually holding the scapula on the thoracic wall correctly. So quite often in planks and push-ups and running man and chaturanga runs, this will happen. So with our scapular push-ups, we're focusing on those little rhomboid muscles, our serratus and our lats, to keep that scapula in the correct position. So to protract the shoulders, we're going to keep the arms nice and straight. They'll be on the floor. And you're going to keep your whole core connected and reach those shoulder blades away from each other without changing the shape of your spine. Then you're going to pass through your neutral, nice and flat, and retract those scapula. So pull those medial borders closer towards each other without thrusting the rib cage forward. So we're still keeping that core connection, keeping the ribs down. We protract away and retract to pull them back. And the eyes of the elbows, or these, I always call these creases here, the eyes of your elbows, are always hiding in looking at each other. So we're trying to keep that focus looking towards each other, the elbows nice and straight as we retract and protract the scapula. So let's get there. So let's come onto our mat on our 4-point kneeling. Our knees are directly underneath our hips. Our hands are directly underneath our shoulders. Fingertips are spread nice and wide. Turn those eyes of the elbows in to face each other. And then find that connection with the abdomen, with the spine. The neck is nice and long. Now from here, let's start with our protraction. So we're going to push into the floor and spread those medial borders of the scapula really nice and wide, hugging the belly in towards the spine, keeping that pelvic floor lifted. Now as we inhale, we're going to draw those borders closer together, bringing our sternum towards the floor. Exhale, push into the floor, pull your sternum back towards your spine and tuck it in between those shoulder blades. And then bring the sternum back down towards the floor. Keep that belly long, keep the pelvic floor lifted, and don't forget about the rest of your body. So start thinking about your glutes as you pass through this protraction and retraction. We're focusing on those muscles that stabilize the spine and stabilize the shoulder. We're focusing on the muscles that keep our core connected to our spine, and those glutes that are going to create the synergy for our body to move in flexion and extension. Last time, protracting through those shoulders, and then we're going to bring it back into our retraction, and then back into neutral, and push your hips back onto your heels and come into your first child's pose. So we're just going to rest here for a minute, bringing our head to the mat, breathing and lengthening through the waistline, feeling our fingertips pull away from the shoulders, finding that nice length in the torso. Then we're going to bring ourselves back up onto our 4-point kneeling. From here, keeping that core or that strong powerhouse nice and connected, we're going to reach our right leg back, flex the ankle so the heel is pointed towards the ceiling and the toes towards the floor, and then lift that leg up to hip height. Now make sure your hips are square and level, and then you're going to float your left hand up and reach it up at shoulder height. So we're holding it here, finding the connection with the abdominals, and we're making sure that we're not tilting over to the left side. If you're struggling to find your balance here, bring the hand down and just focus on that glute. If you're not feeling your glute, give it a little bit of a tap and just wake it up. So that's part of our Franklin method, kind of tapping into those glute muscles and going, yeah, they're engaged. My butt is working really hard right now to hold that leg out behind me. My shoulder is working to keep my left hand engaged out long in front of me. Then we're just going to tap them both back down with control, slide them in, bring the knee in, and then come back into that shell pose again, or that child's pose, and stretch the hands forward. And just feel the length in the spine as we inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, breathing and lengthening the body. And then come back up again, back onto that 4-point kneeling. Hands are directly under the shoulders, eyes of the elbows facing each other, and this time slide the left leg back. Dorsiflex the ankle and pull that leg up to hip height. Make sure you're not collapsing in that lower back. Then we're going to float that right hand up and lengthen it away from us. Shoulders away from the ears, the scapula are in neutral, so we're not protracting or retracting here, and we're really using that left glute to keep that leg extended behind us. And just stay here and breathe. Keep pushing into the floor to keep that left shoulder away from the ear. Keep reaching with the right hand, lengthening the whole spine from your head to your tail, and squeeze that left glute, keeping that foot lifted off the floor. And breathe into both sides of the body. Take one more inhale as you exhale, lower them both down, slide them back in, and push yourself back to your child's pose and reach those hands long. Bring yourself back up onto your hands and knees, hands under the shoulders, eyes of the elbows facing each other. Let's push our right leg back again, and we're going to lift it up to hip height. Now, keeping it at hip height, keeping that glute connected, we're going to slowly pull our heel in towards the sky. And we're going to push that heel up into the sky and then bring it down. And then squeezing the glute, kick it up and bring it down. Keep those shoulders away from the ears and the shoulder blades really nice and wide. And release. Keep pulling the belly in. Don't let your lower back shift with the movement. We're just engaging those glutes. Make sure this movement is coming from the bum, and your belly is connected to support the movement. Your shoulders are still pushing away from each other, keeping that nice slight protraction in the scapula. One more for me. And then bring that knee down, plantar flex the ankle, push yourself back into your shell stretch, or your child's pose. Your shell stretch is when you pull away. And breathe. And bring yourself back into that 4-point kneeling. Slide your left leg back. Dorsiflex the ankle. Float that leg up to hip height. Make sure your powerhouse is nice and square. And then pull that heel in towards your bottom. And we're going to push it up towards the ceiling and release it down. Keep your hips level and square here. And breathe with the movement. Exhaling to push it into the sky. Inhaling to release. Keeping those shoulders wide and away from the ears, keeping that lower belly connected, and breathing throughout. Don't arch in that lower back. Remember, we're connecting everything in. This is about our core. Keeping those shoulders wide. Last one for me. And And then bring it in, uncurl the toe, push yourself back to your child's pose, stretch those hands forward. Bring yourself back onto that 4-point kneeling again, hands directly underneath your shoulders. And we're going to curl our toes under and push ourselves back to our down dog. So you're going to push your hips up towards the ceiling. The front of your thighs come towards the back of the room. Your chest comes towards your thighs. And we want to lift up on the inside arches of our feet and push our big toes into the mat. So we find that nice length and lightness in the feet and stretching through the spine. We want to reach the chest towards the thighs and push the hands away from us like we're ripping our mat in two as we lengthen our spine. And stay here and breathe. And then from here, we're going to walk, step, or jump. So you can bend your knees, look towards your hands, hop yourself forward, and come into a nice forward fold. Allow the body to be just relaxed here and sinking off of that hip joint. Allow the shoulders to be relaxed. You can even fold your hands into each other if that feels comfortable for you. And then release those hands, and we're going to rise the body up really nice and slowly, curling the pelvis in. So finding that nice rounding through the spine till we come all the way up to standing, and then lift the hands up overhead. Little baby back bends, salute the sun. Now from here, we're going to move into our chair squats. So you're going to slide your hips back and your hands come out in front of you into chair pose. And then push into the floor, finding your bum to stand tall. Bring the hips back, sliding them down the wall. The chest comes forward, lifting it up. So this movement is coming from your bottom and standing up tall. And bring it down. And standing up tall. Now from here, we're going to pull our right knee in, up to our chest. Keeping our left hand up, we're going to bring our right hand back towards our hip. And then we're going to step it back to a high lunge, scissoring the hands. And then pull it up. This movement is coming from that glute. Push with that left glute, lifting the right knee. Push the right glute back, extending up to that high lunge and pulling it in. Connection with that core. And reach it back. Finding our balance here, squeezing the back line of the body. And push it back. Pulling it in. And pushing back. Pulling it in. And then lowering the foot, lowering the hand. Let's reach the right hand overhead, lift the left knee up. Find that connection with the core. And then step it back, scissoring the hands. Squeeze those glutes. Push from your right glute to come up. And send it away. Lifting up, strong and stable through that balanced foot. And push into the floor, back line of the body. And back, squeezing the glutes. Lengthen as you stand tall. And pushing it back, finding that glute. Lift. And lunge. Last one. Let's lift it up. Lunge it back. Now lift it up, lower the leg, lower the hand. We're going to do our right warrior three. So we're going to pull that left knee in, finding the balance on the right knee. And we're going to begin to tilt the body forward, reach your hands back behind you. And then straighten that left leg back. Now your left leg might be closer to the floor, that's fine. Or you might be able to really find your balance and really tilt the body forward. Lifting up on the inside arch of the foot, opening the chest and using that glute. Now from here, we're going to hinge the body up, pull the knee in, flex the body, find your balance. It's the wind blowing me over. And then reaching back again, lengthening those hands back behind you, holding on to that warrior three. And then pulling it up, pull the knee in, belly pulling it up, push that foot down. Let's lift the right knee up into the belly. Reach the hands down towards you, shoulders away from the ears, tilt the body forward, and find that connection with your warrior three. Again, your leg may be lower. You may be able to tilt forward even more. You may be somewhere in the middle. You may lose your balance like me. And then we're going to use that left leg like a pendulum, finding the glute and then the abdominals to draw that right knee in. And then tilt the body forward again. Reach it out, flex the toe towards the floor, reach those shoulders down and back. Lengthen the head away from the shoulders and hold. And breathe, find that stability. Glute. And then lengthen up, knee up, using the core, and then place that foot down, and let's come down into a forward fold. Let's just roll the body down, and bring your hands to the floor if you can, and use your exhale breath to straighten those legs as much as you can. And breathe and try and stretch a little bit deeper. And then bend your knees, and we're gonna step your right leg back, keeping that foot in dorsiflexion, keeping the belly connected, step the left leg back into our plank. And just hold your plank here, keeping those shoulders nice and neutral on the spine, keeping the belly lifted, the head nice and long, reaching those heels away from the hips, turning the eyes of the elbows in to face each other. And then we're gonna bring the knees down and bring the elbows down. And you can either keep the elbows in line with the sides of the mat, or you can clasp your hands together, but tuck your pinky fingers in just to protect your joint. And then you're gonna send the left elbow back, left leg, sorry, and then the right, and come into our elbow plank. Squeeze your glutes here, lengthen the shoulders away from the ears, lengthen the tail away from the shoulders, push. You wanna feel like you're pushing your elbows forward as you push your heels back, so you get this really nice strong connection through the back line of the body. And just keep breathing. Good. From there, bring your knees down, and we're going to come into a side plank. So let's start on the right. You're going to bring your right elbow down to the mat, parallel with the edge of your mat, and bend your bottom knee. Push your top leg nice and long, and push into the instep of the foot. And then, if it's for you, extend those legs nice and long, reach the hand up towards the sky. Now we're going to bend the elbow, curl the body, and look towards the mat. Inhale, lengthen back up to your side plank. Squeeze that right glute to help protect the body, flex. Inhale to open it back up. Bend your bottom knee, bring your hip to the floor, and swing yourself around. Onto the left elbow, bend the knee, bring yourself up to that side plank, reach the hand up, and then extend that bottom leg if that's for you. Once you're nice and comfortable squeezing those glutes, flex the spine, turn the chest towards the mat, and then open it back up on your inhale. Keep that shoulder away from the ear. Flex it, and lengthen back up, finding that nice long line all the way through the whole foot, belly connected, and then lower that knee and bring your hip down and come onto your belly in your prone position and just rest there for a minute. Open your legs up to the distance of the mat and maybe prop 2 fists underneath your forehead, squeezing your glutes and pulling your belly away from the floor. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. And then we're going to bring ourselves into our boat pose to really try and wake up that core. So, sitting on your sit bones, we're going to rock the weight just behind the sit bones and find that connection with the belly and that length in the chest. And then you're going to pick up your right foot and then your left and squeeze those inner thighs together. Now, holding this position here, it may be okay for you then to let go and hold on to that strong position, pulling those shoulders away from the ears, finding that connection with the belly, rocking your sacrum backwards and tucking it under, and feeling the top of your hip bones tilting under as you reach those hands. And just keep breathing here and holding that support, finding that connection in the body. And breathe, shoulders away from the ears. Keep tucking that tail under. And then we can bring our legs down to the floor and roll our body down and just rest for one deep inhale and one deep exhale. And from there, we're going to cross our right leg over our left and then bring the knees in towards the body. Now, if you can hook that foot behind the leg in your eagle legs, go ahead and do that. If you can't, just squeeze those inner thighs as close together as you can and then bring your elbows out to the side, cradling the back of your skull. From here, we're going to flex up and we're going to hold it there, lifting our chest up towards those knees. Keep breathing and lifting that chest as high as you can, squeezing those inner thighs. And then lengthen the body down And then bring your hands to that right knee and push your knee into your hands as you push your hands into your knee, finding that connection with all of the belly. Keep breathing, keep those shoulders down and away from the ears, finding that strong connection with your core. Breathe. And then uncross your legs, cross your left over your right. Hook that left foot underneath the right calf if you can. Squeeze those inner thighs. Elbows come out to the side. We're going to lift the chest and hold. Keep breathing, finding that connection with those upper abdominals. Lower back is pushed into the mat. Keep lifting. Keep finding that strong connection. And then lower the head down and push your hands into your left knee as you push your left knee into your hands. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. Keep that rib cage connected and lift the pelvic floor. Keep breathing. And release the knees. Just hug your knees into your chest for a minute, giving yourself a little bit of a rest. And then we're going to kick our feet up towards the ceiling, dorsiflex the ankles, so toes towards the face, and then laterally rotate the legs. So your heels are together, your toes are apart, and really squeeze those inner thighs. Now from here, we're going to bend the knees, dragging the heels down the wall behind us, and then push those legs back out on a diagonal line and then up towards the sky. Bend the knees, dragging the heels down the wall behind you. Keep squeezing those heels. Push those legs out on the long line and then back up to the ceiling. Drag the heels, squeeze those heels. Find that pelvic floor connection, reach them out. Lower abdominals, back up to the ceiling. Last one, drag and push and up to the ceiling. Now from here, bring your legs back to parallel. We're going to bend the right knee in, dorsiflex the left leg, and reach that leg away. Grab onto your right shin and pull the body up and drag that heel a little bit lower. Keep looking towards that left foot, and if it's for you, you can even relax your hands and reach your hands towards your feet. Otherwise, keep grabbing onto the knee and feel like you're pulling your knee towards your body as you're pushing your knee away from your body. Keep that connection with those abdominals. And then pull both knees in, kick the right leg up towards the ceiling, dorsiflex the ankle, drag that heel away. Grab onto the left knee, pull it up. And then if it's for you, release those hands and reach them towards your right foot. Keep flexing the toe towards the face, pushing that lower back into the floor. Remember, you can push the knee away as you try and pull the knee towards you, or just use your own abdominal strength to keep you lifted. And breathe. Keep reaching that leg nice and long. Find your glute. And then bring it in. And knees in. From here, let's flex back up again. Kick both feet up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to drag them both away. So reach your hands. Let's drag those feet. Drag, 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 drag. Point the toes. Lift, 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 lift. Flex the ankles. Drag, 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 drag. Point the toes. Lift, 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 lift. Flex. Drag, 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 drag. Point. Lift, lift, lift. Last one, flex. And drag. Point. And lift. Bend the knees. Coming a little bit closer. Bring your head down. And we're going to do those good old-fashioned bicycle crunches. So bring your hands behind your head. Flex the body up. Bring your knees to tabletop. Let's reach the left leg long. Flex the ankle and turn the body towards the right side. Swap, pulling both knees in, twisting the body. Let's turn to the other side. Pulling the knees in and reach. Good old-fashioned Jane Fonda crunches. Into the center and reach. Push that heel away. Into the center. Reach and twist. Bringing it in. And into center. Last one to the right. Bringing it in. Last one to the left. And fold both knees in and bring yourself back down, all the way down onto the ground. Pull your heels in nice and close to the body. And let's roll those hips away from the floor. Roll your shoulders down and back, squeeze your glutes and come into your nice shoulder bridge. And let's just hold it here, breathing and relaxing, stretching out all those muscles in the front line that we've just worked for those abdominals, but finding that connection with our core, with our powerhouse, with our glutes. If you feel it in your hamstrings, then you've lost your glutes. So come down, re-squeeze those glutes and come back up again. Keep rolling those shoulders away so that your chest is nice and open, your collarbone is smiling towards the sky. And then roll your spine down, one vertebrae at a time, release the pelvis. Let's come back up again. Exhale, roll the spine all the way up. And then we're going to tabletop the right leg, extend the toe towards the sky, flex the foot towards the face, and drag that foot down. Now we're going to hold it here on this long angle. So keeping those hips super level, keep squeezing that left glute, reaching that heel away, rolling those shoulders back, finding the connection with the belly. Then bring that knee in, place the foot down to the floor, straight away over to the left side, tabletop that left leg, flick the toe up to the ceiling, dorsiflex the ankle, and then drag that heel away, squeezing your right glute, pushing your left heel away from your left hip, keeping both hips nice and level. And breathe. Keep reaching that heel away from the hip, roll those shoulders back, and then tabletop that leg, push it down, and roll back to the spine, and pull the knees in. From here, let's just bring both feet down towards the floor and drop the knees over to the left side. Look towards the right. And then back into center and drop the knees over to the right and look to the left. And back over to the left. And back over to the right. Feeling that nice movement and articulation in the spine. And coming back into our center. From here, let's fold our right ankle over the left knee. And we're just going to gently pull that left knee in towards the chest, stretching through those right gluteal muscles. And you can dorsiflex that left ankle. And if you want to, you can even pull yourself up a little bit, coming into a little bit more of an abdominal workout while you create that stretch in the glutes. Make sure your head, neck, and shoulders is nice and relaxed. And then bring your body down. Bring the foot down. The right foot down, cross the left foot over, drop the left knee out to the side, pull the right knee in, dorsiflexing that right ankle, and if it's for you, pull yourself up and stretch into those deep gluteals. Keep pushing the back into the mat, feeling that nice stretch through the bum. And then bring your shoulders down. Bring your feet down and relax the legs out to the side into your butterfly stretch. Just allow the knees to be heavy, the shoulders to melt back into the floor, the collarbone to open nice and wide, the hands to be heavy on the floor. And find that connection with your breath again. Maybe push the soles of your feet together to help just create that little bit more awareness in those inner thighs, outer thighs, glutes, pelvic floor. And then we're just going to fold those knees in, reach the legs down long, sweep your hands up towards the sky, nod the chin, begin to flex the body up towards those feet, and then using your core and your abdominal muscles to pull yourself all the way up and into a forward stretch. So come into this forward stretch, trying to keep your pelvis vertical to begin with, and then flex the body forward, bring the elbows towards the floor wherever you are, and walk your hands further away from your hips, spreading your sit bones back and wide, and melting down into this deep forward fold. With every exhale, feel your stretch get deeper. And then roll your belly away from the front of your thighs. Stack your spine up and come seated cross-legged. And just relax your shoulders away from your ears. Sit up nice and tall. And we're going to bring the hands out to the sides. Let's sweep our right hand up overhead and come into a gentle side bend over to the left side. And then lengthen the body up. Bring that hand down towards the floor. Let's sweep the left hand up towards the sky. And then gentle side bend, lengthening down that side leg, pushing that left sit bone right into the floor. So you get that nice deep stretch. And lengthening up and lowering the hands. And that's you done for today. So key things to take away is injury in our body happens when our muscles are not working correctly, when we're compensating for weaknesses in the body. So it's really important, no matter what kind of training we're doing, whether it's swimming, biking, running, high intensity interval training, weightlifting, Pilates, bar, anything, to remember to have your muscle groups functioning correctly and always listen to what the muscle focus is, what muscles are supposed to be working to create that contraction in the body. So our glutes and our core are our powerhouse, and it's really important to make sure that they're strong and functioning correctly. So if you really felt that you were a bit tight in any of those exercises, or you really enjoyed any of them, then go back and do them again. Go back to that point in the video, and even maybe just pause the video and stay a little bit longer in the pose so that you can really find that connection with your powerhouse. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you again.